You are listening to The World As I See It podcast. 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 As I see it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The World As I See It podcast. I am so excited that you are here with me for episode 51. So, today we're going to be talking about a topic that I feel like I see a lot of on the internet. And some people may think that it comes straight out of a sci-fi movie. Self-driving cars. Now, I know that there are people who have different opinions, and you'll hear my opinion in a second. But when you look at why companies started building self-driving cars in the first place, it's kind of interesting. So, it all started years ago when research teams wanted to solve a massive real-world problem. That problem, human error on the roads. So, if you look at the data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the vast majority of car accidents are caused by things like distracted driving, being tired, or, just human error. So, the whole mission behind this technology was to create a car that, never gets distracted or never falls asleep and can react instantly. For me, when I think about driverless cars, it isn't just about this cool engineering. It represents a massive chance at total independence for the blind community. Right now, getting around, it takes planning. You may have to schedule rides with friends. You may have to get an Uber where you're with a total stranger. Or you may have to rely on public transportation. And the thought of a self-driving car, it's super exciting because of that promise of freedom. To just walk outside, get into a car completely by yourself, and go wherever you want without having to rely on anyone else's schedule. It's life-changing. It would take away so much of the daily planning stress. As of right now, these cars are becoming a real part of daily life. Now, they're not available everywhere yet, but fully driverless robo-taxis like the ones made by Waymo are currently operating in major cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, Austin, and Atlanta. And, they're also expanding into other cities as well, like Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and Orlando. And millions of public rides have already been taken. But even though they're growing, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little on the fence about it. Now, don't get me wrong. Having the ability to use a self-driving car in the future is amazing. That sounds great. I can hop in a car and go anywhere I want. Okay, let's go. But it's definitely one of those things where I don't know if I could completely trust it right away. If somebody said to me right now, hey, would you get into the self-driving car? I would hesitate. Because letting go of control, letting a AI control your car instead of a human, it's basically a big a big leap of faith. And I know, like I said, I'd hesitate just a little bit. And there's a big difference between trusting a human driver you can talk to and trusting a computer brain to handle unpredictable roads and sudden traffic changes. If you look at the process of actually using one of these vehicles, it basically works like a standard rideshare app, but with a few unique steps. So you open the app, you drop your PIN, you request a ride, and the car arrives completely empty. There's nobody in there. There's nobody in the driver's seat. When it pulls up, you actually use your phone to unlock the car. But I will say this. This is the one thing that I feel like they could improve on. And yes, I've watched videos of people trying these Waymos, so they may have improved this and I just haven't seen it yet. But for true independence, this is where the design has to be absolutely perfect for someone who can't see. It's not just about the car driving safely. The phone apps have to be completely accessible with the screen readers. And there also needs to be a flawless way to locate the exact car door when it pulls up so that you aren't stuck searching for the vehicle in a busy parking lot or crowded street and potentially accidentally getting into the wrong car. So once you get inside, the interior, it looks different from a normal car. The front seat, it's empty, and the steering wheel, it moves entirely on its own as the car navigates. In the passenger area, instead, of a driver to talk to, there are interactive touch screens and built-in audio systems. These screens displays, the route. It shows exactly what the car's sensors are seeing in real time, and it gives you buttons to start the ride, adjust, the temperature, play music, or pull over if you need to stop. There's also a physical button on the ceiling to immediately contact a live support team if you ever have a question or an emergency. So when you look at the safety data published by Waymo, their research shows that their cars have significantly lowered rates of injury, causing, crashes compared to human drivers in cities where these operate. They use a massive network of radar, laser sensors, and 360 cameras, to constantly paint a 3D map of their surroundings, even in total darkness or bad weather. But even with all of those sensors and positive statistics, I feel like it's completely natural to feel a bit, cautious. Computers can still face glitches, and navigating a world, built for humans is a massive challenge for an AI. That being said, though, I'm definitely not completely opposed to trying it out. If the opportunity, came and I was in a city that had a Waymo, I would absolutely want to experience it for myself to see how it actually feels. It's a really interesting mix of exciting freedom and the natural hesitation that comes with brand new technology, especially a self-driving car. Overall, though, self-driving cars are going to be a huge shift in how, visually impaired people get around, and they could truly change the game for accessibility. And I'm really curious to know what you guys think about all of this. Would you ride in a completely driverless car? Do you think that you could trust a computer brain right away? Or would you hesitate too? Let me know down in the comments. Or you can send me an email at theworldasiseeitpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this week for episode 51. Stay curious, keep listening, and I will talk to you in episode 52.
You've been listening to the World as I See It podcast.